Hey guys, and thanks for checking out the channel. In this set of videos, we're going to be installing a custom high-speed gear set in this little Honda P500. We'll be taking you guys along with us as we go step by step, showing you different tips and tricks to make sure you can do this without any problems. Now this is just the install video though. Before we brought this thing in here, we took out and set up some testing metrics and ran this thing through the ringer while it was still stock, so that we could then, once we got the mod done, take it back, run it again, and then build another video showing you guys exactly what to expect from this modification. We ran all kinds of torture tests from, Zach, I'm literally trying to film the intro video, man. What's up?
No, you're not, man. You're talking about the next video.
I guess he's kind of right. Look, guys, I'm just really excited because there's lots of cool stuff coming. I'll go ahead and round up some supplies. Oh, last thing though. If you like the video, let us know. Like and subscribe. Okay, how did that I want to say this right from the start. You guys really should watch these videos front to back and just make sure you feel like this is within your wheelhouse before you go rounding up all these supplies. I know a lot of our videos will set out all the tools for you and tell you what tools to round up before you get started, but it's not going to be that easy with this one. You know, there's a lot of things that can use tool A or tool B. Like, for example, I like to use push pin pliers.
Why, when a flathead does just fine?
You know, to each their own. Anyway, we will go over all the supplies with you though. We're gonna need some petroleum jelly, round you up some of that, a speedometer calibration module. I'm gonna use this Speedo DRD. I'm not affiliated with these guys. I'm not sponsored, I have to say that. I pay retail like all of you. I just know how to use this one, so I'll post a link for you. We need some shims for your speed sensor. I'll post a link down below because these things are kind of hard to find. Now, some scrap rubber, something like that. As far as the chemicals, we're gonna have some blue thread locker, some dielectric grease, and we're gonna use Honda Bond silicone. Now, if you don't have Honda Bond, get Yama Bond, some kind of ATV specific. You wanna make sure of that. A couple of brushes, paint brush 1 to 2 inches, a brass bristle brush. We do need to round up these gears. They're Honda part numbers. I'll post them somewhere up here on the screen. We will have to modify them, but these are the gears that we need. Oil, of course we need an oil and filter change because we're gonna have to drain all this engine oil out. We're gonna use paint thinner to clean the cases. Anything like something that'll dissolve oil will work just fine. You need something like a penetrating oil. We're gonna use well, I guess I can't say that. We're gonna use a water dispersant somewhere around Formula 39 and 41, some paper towels, and some grease. And that's pretty much what we're gonna round up. So in an effort to trim out as much fat as we could and keep these videos from being 24 hours long, there's some simple sections that we might have sped up some. But we did put chapters all along the way. So if you need to reference back to something, it's very easy to get back there.
That's a free feature.
Yeah, we're not gonna charge you guys any extra for that. Now, I want to let you know there's some things that we removed off here, like you can see the roll cage is gone. You don't need to remove that. We just remove these extra parts so that when we're trying to get you guys video from like 20,000 leagues under, none of this is going to be in the way.
What we're not going to do is tell you how to drain the oil, take the seats out, take the battery out, or put it in neutral.
Yeah, because guys, if you can't do these simple tasks, well, this is probably a little out of your pay grade. You need to go get someone to help you out with it.
All right, you ready to get started, Captain Nemo?
Let's do it, man. Line this thing up. All right, the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and take off the rack and the fenders and get those out of the way. We have a total of 8 12mm bolts with 4 of them on each side, and they hold the rack and fenders as one assembly to the frame. We need to go ahead and remove those bolts. There's a plug for the rear tail light and wiring harness on the passenger side inner fender. We need to unclip that and then unplug it. Now we've got one push pin for the intake snorkel on the driver's side, and then this inspection cover, it snaps off here and it's time to pick up the rack and move it out of the way. Now that we've got this rack removed and out of the way, it's time for you to clean up everything around where we're working. When we open this thing up, we don't want dirt falling in the engine, so clean it up. I mean clean as an elephant toenail. Clean as Hillary Clinton's email server. Just kidding, this is never gonna be a political channel. All right, now, hopefully you guys at home went ahead and cleaned your unit up and everything's spick and span. So we're gonna come up front and go ahead and get this differential loose. This is the first thing we need to do. Now, you only have a few bolts. There's a 14mm bolts, very small ones that go through the front diff bracket into the frame. We're gonna go ahead and get those loose first. You could use a swivel at home and a 14, I'm gonna use a swivel socket. Now that you've got the lower bolts, the little bitty short ones loose, we're gonna go ahead and take the upper one loose. Now it's a 17 millimeter on both sides. I'm gonna use 2 swivel sockets, but you know, you could probably just use a normal swivel to get up there to it. So if you come through here between the tie rod end and the brake line, you can get right to that nut and take it loose on the bolt. Hopefully you guys have someone like Zach over there to hold the other side. If you don't have someone over there, it's gonna be a little more fun.
I'm only here because our buddy Rufus promised there'd be Patron at the end.
He promises a lot, dude. These are the bolts we got. We've got the larger 17 millimeter here on both sides, and then your little 14s. Now this next step, you guys at home don't actually have to do this. You could probably lay in the dirt and crawl to get to what we're doing. However, it's gonna make it a lot easier if you get all of this plastic out of the way. So we need some push pin pliers to get all these off. They're gonna make this job—
Or a flathead screwdriver, a lot easier.
I mean, I think these are a lot easier, but to each their own. So once we get all those out of the way, we are gonna have a Phillips heads. We've got 2 back here, and then we've got 4 across the front, and then we're gonna unplug the ECM and then get all this plastic pulled up and out of the way.
2 of those Phillips heads look a little different.
Yeah, I think some bonehead probably broke them off. It was too cheap to buy Honda.
Went to the hardware store.
Yeah, we got some good ones on the way though. One of these bolts is stripping out, so we had to go get our impact driver. If you know how to use it, it's a great tool.
That's what she said.
I can't set you up for that one, didn't I? So we're gonna set it in place, and then we're gonna hammer on the back of it. And notice, without stripping that Phillips head out, she's loose. When you see everything looks naked, don't fret. We didn't skip a whole bunch of steps without you guys. We just went ahead and took the exhaust off and the seat frame. You don't have to do that. We just did that to make sure you could see every step of this process without anything in the way. Now the reason that we're gonna take this drive shaft off of the actual engine is because it's putting pressure on the shaft that goes through the engine. It can possibly press that shaft out the back whenever we're taking that rear cover off. And if that happens, it can tear that front seal, and we don't want that to happen. You can see there's a little seal, so watch that seal and just, yeah, pop it loose like that. And now, go ahead and pull it, Zach. There we go. And just pop it all the way. And then this rubber seal, we want to go ahead and pop this rubber seal and slide it and put it somewhere safe. What we're doing next is, you don't want to touch these splines, but this area up here is where we're going to clamp. This is some rubber bike tube from a last video that we did. We're going to wrap that around to protect it, and then we're going to get our vice grips and press them as far up against the actual case as we can. And this doesn't have to be really tight. You just want to put a little bit of a snap, you know, on there. And this is going to hold that shaft in place.
So now it's time to go ahead and start taking the rear apart. We're going to start with the snorkel tube.
We're going to pull these 2 push pins that are on the left and right side of the snorkel tube out. And then we have this clamp on the back. We need to loosen it up. And from there, we can just shimmy it, pick it up, pull the snorkel tube out of the way. Now the rear exhaust shield, you got the 2 10mm bolts back here. And then there are 2 more over on the side up here. And from there, we're just gonna shimmy it a little bit and pick it up, move it out of our way. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and get the airbox off. We have a plug that's here at the back. You're gonna unplug that. There's a 10mm, we've already got that loose. There is a drain that runs down the airbox in the back here. Make sure it's free. Then over here on this side, we have a breather tube that goes up there. We want to use a brush and clean very good all around that before we come loose with that and shimmy that off and get that free. And then the clamp that mounts to the actual throttle body, you want to clean that up really well. Get an old paintbrush or something and get up in there nice and deep like, and clean that thing up. And then loosen that clamp, which we already did. And then we're just gonna shimmy this thing up and out, pull it forward, and then just kind of shimmy it right off. Now, once that's off, you want to get a clean rag to get down in the throttle body because we don't want any dirt falling in there. Now that we've got the airbox off and the airbox is out of the way, the throttle body, and we're going to pull the TPS, the injector. And then there is a little clip here, and if you get some needle nose pliers, you can pinch that clip. Now, back to your brush. Get your brush, clean up the cylinder head really well all around there. You want to make sure that's clean and we're not going to drop a lot of dirt down in the engine. Zach's going to go ahead and loosen that up. I've got a clean towel ready. The fuel hose and your thermal cable, there's no need to take those loose. We unclamped it from the frame, and once we loosen that clamp, we're just gonna pull this. You gonna grab that for me, Zach? We're gonna pull this up and out of the way. There's no need to take those other pieces loose. Now we're making some progress. We need to go ahead and start getting all this electrical loose and out of the way. We'll go through those one by one and show you what you need to remove. First, let's go ahead and start out with this speed sensor. We're gonna grab it and unplug that one. Now, beside that and a little bit lower is your shift angle sensor. Fold this little metal tab out of the way and it will help you when you unplug and remove this. Now, there's a little two-way zip tie. You just press it, the little tab on it and shimmy it and it will come loose. Try not to drop it like I did there. And then your stator plug. This one was a tough one, but the wire that goes from your stator to the rectifier, pop it loose. We'll clean these plugs up a little bit later. Now, your speed and angle sub harness, go ahead and take it loose. And once you unplug that, we can fish the sub harness up and out of the way. Now on the front of the battery box is your pickup plug. We want to unplug that and pull that one loose. And then right under that is this little wire loom. You want to go ahead and open the wire loom and pull all these wires out of the loom. Now once that's opened up, we can get this pickup wire and fish it out along with the stator wire and pull them out of our way over toward the driver's side. Now your gear position plug, that's going to be next. We're going to unplug that and it runs under the starter. So just pull it, you know, past the starter wire and up and under it over there to the driver's side and out of our way from where we're working. Now the clip that holds the parking brake cable, we're going to snap it, pop it loose. There it is on the top left. It's just a different angle. And then try not to dump it like that and have to fish it out. This is going to be how you take the plugs off the box. If you see this little tab, all you have to do is press that little tab in like that and they'll slide right off of the battery box. So we're going to start on the front of it. You've got the pickup plug. Pull that plug off of the box. And then down here where your sub harness for your speed and angle sensor plug in, we're going to take it loose, slide it off, and last, this rectifier clip, we're going to pop that loose.
All right, so now we're going to use a 10mm to take these 4 bolts out that hold on the battery box.